Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the OG Sessions Podcast, episode 136 going down right now. And of course, I'm joined today by my brother, Joey Allen.
What up?
How you feeling, Joey Allen?
I am feeling great. How are you feeling, Nicholas?
Not too bad, brother. It's
Good.
been a hell of a week.
Yes, it has.
We've been doing so much shit for the podcast, but today's episode is a very special one.
Got a lot of things going on.
A ton of things going down today, and let's go ahead and jump right into it,
Let's
brother.
do it.
So you guys have all seen us teasing the new intern. He's been with us for about a month now, and I feel like it is the perfect time to just bring him onto this show, because eventually the goal is to kind of have like a third member, a third host.
And he's a big fan of the guest today, so why not today?
Facts. There we go, brother.
Let's
So,
do it.
ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your new intern, the man himself, Hayden Fenwick.
What's up?
Hayden, welcome to the podcast, brother.
Thank you.
It's been a long time coming. Let's go ahead and give the people a quick backstory about Hayden. So, we've all been friends. The three of us, we've been like a little triplet since Topgolf days, I believe.
Me and Hayden for a lot longer.
Yep.
Since elementary school.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
wait, that's right. You guys grew up in the same neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget about that. And then I met Hayden whenever I transferred to Atlantic Coast, like my junior year of high school.
Yep.
And he's just been one of the fucking homies,
Yeah.
honestly. And we have begged Hayden to be a part of this podcast for months now. And at first you were kind of skeptical about it. You know, not like skeptical, but like you didn't know, you had never been on a podcast before.
Mm-hmm.
You've never been a host of a podcast before. And so we were like, just same thing we did with Joey. Force his hand, told him, you are going to do this and you are going to love it. And here we are, boys. This is part of our grooming phase of getting Hayden onto the OG Sessions podcast.
Yes,
Pleasure
sir.
to be here.
Dude, seriously, well, we are so grateful for all the things that you've done for the pod so far, setting up the calendar, taking all the behind-the-scenes content, helping us with equipment, helping us with the festival we did this weekend, which we will talk about in a few
And just having a
minutes.
third guy walking around with you is you just feel more like a unit.
100%.
Feels good.
And there's a lot of like I don't want to say standards, but like a lot of things that me and you try to do that we've kind of, we try to keep the standard high. I guess that would be the correct word for this podcast. But Hayden's one of those guys too, where he just like wants everything to look crisp, wants everything to be kind of like
Hayden's
smooth.
anal too.
Hayden's extremely anal. Are you
Yeah,
kidding
he's
me?
anal for sure.
So, boys, before we get into our win of the week for this episode, another big thing going down is we have been sent from the good folks over at Nordic Blue Water. They sent us a case, shout out to them, that we are going to review today. This is just premium water, is all it says.
Premium.
So, first glance, boys, how are we feeling about the packaging?
It's pH balanced and it has electrolytes.
Is it spring water? No, it's purified, actually. Reverse osmosis. How about that?
Okay, reverse osmosis. That's what you do, Joey, right?
That's what I have in the what? That's,
Don't you have?
I have reverse osmosis in the kitchen. Yeah,
That's right.
And I ain't gonna lie, that water is bust down.
Okay, boys, so let's go ahead and give it a honest review, okay? No bullshit.
Let's see if it. Well, here's some more.
I don't drink spring water, so
Cheers, fellas. Really? You don't drink spring water?
I'm just not a fan. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the
Really?
minerals. People make fun of me for it, but
All right, let's give it a rip, boys.
People make fun of you for a lot of things.
I know. Don't talk about it.
Oh, that's
Wow.
hydrating.
Okay, this is actually really good water. I'm not gonna lie, I'm extremely picky when it comes to water. Like there's certain waters I don't touch. I don't care if I'm dying in a desert. You can't give me a drink Dasani.
Dasani.
That's great.
No, literally. But boys, this is fire. I mean, this is 10 out of 10.
This tastes like reverse osmosis water. I'll tell
This
you.
is really. You can taste the electrolytes.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
It's one of those things where, like, the canned waters are becoming a thing because microplastics and stuff like that. I'm slowly getting rid of all of my, like, plastic, cutware just because it's
I've even been
microplastics.
sketched about pots and pans lately. Like, I saw this TikTok. If there's like a little scratch in it, bro, the plastics and like the materials that come out of that every time you cook,
unbelievable.
and the bacteria.
So it's already got a good review for us just for the can concept. I didn't even think about that, but definitely want to support canned water.
Marketing, great.
Like whenever I drink out of a can, I'm not expecting it to ever be water or just have no flavor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But this is damn good, boys.
is
I
great.
love this.
You wouldn't think this is a water if somebody handed it to you.
Oh, no, definitely not. Honestly, it's giving seltzer.
Oh yeah,
Like some
Packaging is
kind of
great.
yeah, packaging is fire. Honestly, I give it a 10 out of 10. Where y'all boys at?
I give it a 12.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I'm not gonna lie. This shit's like holy water,
'Cause
boys.
it's like whoa, it's like from the kitchen.
No sodium. Are you sure it's
Are
good,
you kidding me?
Nick?
This is from like, what's that?
Are you sure it's good? No sodium?
Look, brother.
Oh Nick.
Okay,
Oh,
so y'all are
gosh.
taking shots early. I've actually stopped putting salt on all the stuff that I've been doing just because
As of what, a day ago?
No,
What do you
look,
mean?
bro, as soon as we after FinFest, I've been done putting salt on everything because for a while, like Okay, so I would put extra salt on shit. Not even going to sit here and hold y'all boys. I get a sandwich from somewhere.
Tell them.
And I'm putting salt on it for sure. Like I'll put salt. Or
how many?
Especially the fries.
How many in the fries?
2 salt packets.
Okay, but how many do you do when we're not there? Because I'm afraid that when you're alone, you do like 4 or 5.
I would never do more than 2. I would never do more than 2. 2 is already a lot.
1 is a lot.
Let's jump into win of the week.
Let's do
I'm
it.
done talking about this bullshit. Joey, start us off, brother.
I'll go first. My win of the week is taking Bryant Nolan fishing for his very first time. And him actually catching a fish, because that's a big deal.
That was a good one.
Some days we go out there and we don't catch nothing.
That is actually a really good one. I like that. That was a really fun experience. I mean, I remember for me, whenever we went fishing, like you got me a fishing pole for my birthday, and we went fishing for my first time. And the adrenaline that you have when you catch your first fish, bro, is unmatched.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's so much fun. It was cool seeing Bryant kind of go through that, too. It was
Big
also,
ass dude, like jumping around, happy he caught a fish this big.
It's funny, though, because, like, when I first started fishing, we weren't using live bait. You know, we were just like throwing out. What were we throwing? I think just lures, right?
Oh no, we were at Crystal River, so we were doing like dead shrimp or something.
That's right. We had the dead shrimp that we found in the freezer.
Yeah.
But no, with Bryant, we brought the live shrimp and had him touch it, bro. Just going through that video and like editing it is so funny because of all his like little like reactions to shit. You know what I mean? Like him not wanting to put his hand in. I'm not gonna say too much.
There was one clip, and I'm surprised you didn't put it in the video where you said he was hooking the shrimp and you were like, flip it, pinch it, and then like a second goes by and you're like, and reverse it. Yeah. I saw it in his video. He posted it, and it was so funny.
I was going to put that in the video, but the way that the camera that we use when we do these vlogs is one of those cameras where the microphone is facing forward.
Yeah.
So I could have turned it up and made it,
but
like,
it just didn't work.
It didn't sound good.
Yeah.
I did try to make that clip happen.
It was so funny.
I wish, like, this is another good thing about having Hayden is, like, we're going to have a third person to, like, push the camera onto sometimes. Because with me and you flipping it back and forth, there's never an opportunity for both of us to be in the video. So I almost feel like sometimes when I'm recording, I should try to, like, not keep my mouth shut, but just, like, not say as much because it won't get picked up on the mic anyway.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? So it'll be cool to just have a third member. And then, like, also, I can film both of you guys having the conversation too if we're doing a vlog style concept like that. But no, good win of the week, brother. I totally forgot about that. We've been doing so much shit the past week. It's like, damn.
Your turn.
My win of the week. Actually, Joey, Hayden, what's your win of the week?
My win of the week is actually the OG Sessions podcast.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my God, giving us flowers earlier.
FinFest. Now, I know we'll probably touch on this in a little bit.
For sure.
But as somebody who just like joined the team, I'm extremely proud for these two guys because it was an unbelievable experience. One, we just got to meet so many cool people, make some super cool connections.
Stop, I'm going to cry.
It was my birthday weekend, so I also got to spend my weekend with you guys. That was an honor.
That's
So,
a good win of the week.
Thank you, guys.
I appreciate you,
thank
brother.
you,
No,
Hayden.
seriously, thank you. Holy shit, get the fucking tissues, boys.
I'm going to cry.
Okay, so wow, he's bringing some kindness this
Follow
podcast.
that
This is
up, brother.
crazy. Okay, so my win of the week. I don't even know what I'm gonna say anymore. No, my win of the week is also FinFest. Like Hayden just touched on, incredible experience. Just there were so many aspects of FinFest that were kind of like in the unknown before we went into it. Like we didn't really know exactly what the sound quality was going to be like. We didn't really know how close we were going to be to the stage. Originally, we were going to be like across the street in an air-conditioned building, which would have been dope and would have still been extremely blessed to have the opportunity. But it was really cool getting to like be backstage and like connecting with a lot of these artists. And there were certain artists that weren't on our schedule. You know, like they didn't respond to the email to to do the interview or whatever, and then we see them in person. And they're like, of course we want to do it.
And they see the setup and they're like, yeah,
100%. So next week, or actually when this episode comes out, the FinFest episode will have already been dropped. Just shout out to Nico, shout out to Disco Cowboy for giving us the opportunity. Incredible weekend. It was also our first time doing a 2-day live show. So me and Joey, we'd already done a live show, but it was just a quick 6-hour, maybe 5-hour thing.
That was a long day.
It was a full day, but like the actual show itself, we were only recording for a few hours.
Sure.
With this, like boys, we're up and down. Like we're recording, you know, as soon as we get someone there, record 15, 20 minutes, bounce, go do something, on to the next person. But how about the like headliner at the end of the night? And we get backstage passes. So we're seeing Neil Francis perform live, like backstage. We're seeing all these different artists kind of come in there and like work their craft right after they got on the podcast. So it was just a really cool time. I mean, it was seriously like, it was an honor.
Do you have a favorite?
I really enjoyed Swamp Tooth.
Yeah?
Swamp Tooth surprised me. I wasn't a big fan of Bluegrass, but just having them on the show and seeing the way that their like group kind of works was just really fucking dope. What about y'all boys?
I'll let you go.
I got to do the band Be Easy. One, because of the music and the amount of people that they had on stage was impressive. And then just talking to the two guys, what was it, Darren and Aaron? Aaron and Darren?
Yep.
Great guys. Great conversation. So
that was one of my favorite conversations of the night. I will say that. Just super wholesome, genuine humans. And it was really cool just like connecting with them as well. I like that one.
Yeah.
What about you, Hayden?
Touching on like sound quality and everything, I had a hard time. Y'all have the headphones in. Y'all can hear the conversation going on. So as somebody who's behind the scenes, I didn't get to hear a lot of the conversations unless it was quiet or nobody was playing on stage. But Trash Panda.
Trash Panda was
fire. I didn't hear a single thing they said in y'all's interview, but when we walked side stage, they threw down.
That's a really good one because I was when you're doing the interview, you kind of draw like an idea of what you think their sound is going to be like while you're interviewing
I was
them.
never right.
No, never.
I didn't get any of the 3 Hispanic dudes being a rock band.
Dude, who would have thought?
On.
Who would have thought? Glass City, shout out to them. I mean, Glass City was incredible. Yeah, that was a really cool one as well. Their story was super unique.
Oh, yeah,
like,
they're dope.
If y'all haven't seen the FinFest episode, go check it out. You'll understand everything that we're talking about. Once again, shout out to the boys, Nico and Disco Cowboy, for making that happen and kind of pulling some strings for us because I want to do that shit again every single year. Like, seriously, I think it'd be even cooler, like, if we drop this interview and then some other festivals try to pick us up and be like, hey, come do that at our festival.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
And the artists loved the fact that they, like, it was like a whole nother experience for them.
For
like
sure.
They're showing up, they're performing, and then they get to talk on a podcast.
Not to mention it's local.
Yeah.
I love seeing, like, local artists as well as people that are, we had people from Philly, like, Indiana, like, all over the place. But I love seeing local artists as well as larger artists that aren't local that are merging together and, you know, coming together and putting together a hell of an event.
Dude, what's great is like a lot of those artists, even if they're local or not local, the opportunity to interview them, a lot of bands don't want to get on a podcast. They want to let their music speak for them. There's usually a couple members of the group too. They're kind of like, maybe not shy, but just like they're not like the lead singer. You know what I mean? They kind of like being in that background and whatever. And I think it was just really cool that we got to like really sit down and like pick these people's brain. You know what I mean? Because Trash Panda is a good example of like one where you see them like at just when you get a first glance of them, you're like, oh my God, what is this dude even like? What do you talk to them about? You know what I mean? They just seem like every person in that band just kind of seemed a little bit different. You could almost do a full hour-long interview with each of them, but then you sit down and you see them all kind of operate as a group, and you're like, fucking legendary, boys. So seriously, shout out to both of y'all. You guys killed it. I can't do any of this shit without y'all.
We can't do it without you.
As a fucking unit, boys, like as far as our production went throughout the weekend, I think we crushed. I wouldn't have changed a single thing.
It was so fun.
I think I want to change my win of the week to Nick Usher. Nick Usher has been holding this down.
Oh my God,
for
boys.
years.
Oh yeah, dude's crushing.
Give me the rag. Get me the rag.
I know we're doing this podcast just as a normal thing, but a lot of y'all don't know how much effort and work Nick has put into this since OG, like just off-grid
Since
merch.
off-grid, yeah.
100%.
The gold stickers on the back of my car. Like I've had 3 cars since then, and like
That's crazy. I
here
forgot
we
about the
are
gold stickers.
with like a whole studio.
I appreciate that, bro. That is a wild flashback. Like, just sometimes I forget about the brand where the OG and OG sessions came from.
The OG stickers were so tough.
Dude, I loved them.
Don't forget they're $6.50 a fucking sticker.
Oh, I know.
Okay,
And they
like,
stayed on forever.
Oh
They
yeah,
never
no.
faded. Nothing.
Boys, it's so funny. Like I could sit here for an hour and talk about just like all of the failures and all of the like things that led to where we are right now. But I mean, I'll get fucking emotional. It's crazy. Just like, thank you, Hayden, for even harping on that, because there is so much shit that I do behind the scenes that never will be known by the people that listen to this podcast. But it's the reason that like the quality looks good, the marketing looks good, and
Because he's anal.
Quick up, major. I mean, big time anal. But also, major shout out to y'all boys. You guys are also taking over 2 social platforms. Hayden's got X and Joey has TikTok. If you guys are not following us on X and TikTok, both of those platforms are about to have a totally different identity. It's not just me posting simple clips on there whenever I get the time. It's like 2 guys that are actually putting in like effort to grow a community on there. So if you guys want to be a part of that and you want to see more behind the scenes shit when it comes to the podcast, TikTok, X, obviously if you're not following us on Instagram, I'm still running that. But no, shout out to y'all boys. Huge fucking guest today.
Yes, sir.
I am stoked for this one, fellas. This is our most viewed guest in our old studio space. So I'm stoked. I know y'all are stoked. Let's not take any more time away from these people. Let's jump right into it.
Let's do it.
What up, OGs, and welcome back to another episode of the OG Sessions podcast. Of course, I'm here with my brother Joey Allen.
What's up, man?
Dude, I'm excited about today's episode.
Sir.
We are bringing back a fan favorite guest from, I don't even know if it was season 2, but I know it was our old studio space. Her episode was the most viewed episode on YouTube up until like a few episodes ago. So I know the people are excited about us bringing her back. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up to the girl herself, Mia O'Brien.
What is going on, boys? I'm loving the new digs.
Thank you.
Loving the glow up, and very proud of you boys because I know, no offense, but you guys are going to blow up episodes to come and keep going and going much more than a little episode with me.
Oh,
The ceiling. The ceiling is the floor right now. The ceiling is going to be raised.
When we're talking about sports, you are the top of the ceiling.
The go.
You were there.
Yeah,
And it's funny, like, we're not a very sporty podcast.
Right.
Like, we'll kind of mention, like, the fantasy league here and there and stuff, and we'll talk Jags for, like, 5 minutes in the intros. But for the most part, like, we don't usually talk a lot of sports, but a lot of our listeners are big Jags fans. Obviously, me and Joey and our new intern Hayden are, like, diehards.
Totally.
And so, no, this is more of a conversation that we do. Like, this is like...
We love this conversation.
Yeah, we love this. Like, if they love it, fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, if
you get to indulge a little bit in the sports fandom. You know, and I describe you guys, I say they're a lifestyle podcast. They're for everybody in Jacksonville and beyond.
100%. So how's everything going with you?
It's good. Yeah.
Just got back from Cincy, right?
Just got back from Cincy. You know, highly recommend, and I promise I wasn't paid to say this, the Allegiant 6 a.m. flight. I do not recommend showing up an hour before said 6 a.m. flight because who would have thought that the airport in northern Kentucky, 45-minute wait even for TSA pre, but we got on the flight, made it back in time. I think I finally know what day of the week it is, so we'll roll with it. But Cincinnati, underrated city, as I told you boys when I walked in the door, was very impressed. Covington, that northern Kentucky city right across the bridge, some amazing restaurants. We had Smoked Justice, which is like this underrated, under-the-radar barbecue spot, was awesome. They've actually got TVs set up almost like a sports book, too. Like, we were living the dream, man.
Damn.
It was awesome.
Okay.
I mean, the game, not so much, but that's all right. The game itself was entertaining, and we will take that because we didn't get many entertaining Jaguars games after my last time on this podcast for about a calendar year.
Yeah.
I drew a lot of things from that game, like criticisms and a lot of like good things as well.
Yep.
I want to get your take on it as well. Like, let's just jump right into it since we're talking about Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things that in this Jaguars offense specifically that are so much different than last year. I feel like we're looking for the deep ball and the big play so much more often than we are. And we're actually like executing too. You know, last year it just felt like, you know, once you see a Jaguars game, you know what every single game is going to look like. Very mediocre. Just like
Lots of field goals.
We're going to try ground and pound, and if it doesn't work, we're going to go to the screens, and that's pretty much it.
And I think the funny part is they are more effective in running screens this year than they were last year when the bubble screen was the go-to. Of course, I know a lot of national pundits have pointed out that the reverse, the jet sweep is now the crutch, if you may. I don't think it's a crutch. I think it's a way to establish the run in a different capacity. Ultimately, as of this writing, and we'll see how long this holds on this recording of this podcast, the Jaguars #1 in the National Football League in rushing, which if you had told me that
Let's go.
a year ago, my Atlanta. That's what Liam Cohen was brought in here to do, though.
Yeah.
And I believe that what he also was brought in here to do was to give Trevor Lawrence more easy buttons, more layups in the passing game. And I think he's done that up to this point. We can go down the line and argue about where is Travis Hunter being used and where is he best being used. Brian Thomas Jr. currently fighting a 5 of 19 catches versus targets ratio right now that a lot of people on the internet are talking about. Hospital balls and what's the definition of that? I almost muted it on Twitter yesterday.
What is it?
I mean, a hospital ball is when a defender is truly feet away from the receiver and you throw it and the receiver knows all full well as soon as they catch it, they're going to be popped.
Yeah.
At the same time, if the defender is, let's say, 7-8 yards away and is closing in at full speed, you know they're coming, but the receiver is going to have time to catch it, potentially drop to the ground, or make a juke move, get out of the way, or simply embrace the contact because that's what football is.
That's what it felt like on that last 4th down play that we had on offense, where you knew, like Brian Thomas Jr., if he would have caught it, I don't even think he really would have gotten the first down just because he was being draped by the defender, but it was interesting. Like that play call is just something that I don't even think we would have ran last year. I'm glad. I like the play call. I don't have any criticisms against that, but I think that the decision to throw it to him in that moment, I don't even think it would have gotten the first down. I do,
yeah. I mean, where I was sitting in the press box, I was like close to the 10-yard line on that Bengals side. So he probably had about a 4 to 5 foot cushion. So I think last year's Brian Thomas Jr. catches that, turns upfield, gets the first down, doesn't get the touchdown, but he moves the chains enough. I mean, the dude's 6'2", 6'3", so like just by simply laying over,
he's gotten bigger too. Like you can tell, like he's definitely put in work in the offseason and everything, even like preseason, like leading up, he seemed like he was the same old Brian Thomas Jr. It didn't seem like we were getting anything different, and just for whatever reason, it's so funny too because in our fantasy league, someone took Brian Thomas Jr. either first or second round.
That's crazy.
And so it's
I was encouraging people to do the same. So that's
for sure.
That's where, look, it's week 2. This time a year ago, the New Orleans Saints were 2-0. The Baltimore Ravens were 0-2. The sky was falling. It's why I will not believe the Chiefs are dead until all is said and done. I know they're 0-2 at the time of the recording of this podcast, but ultimately it's still early.
Chiefs are dead.
Oh, well, there you go.
I want to throw that out there,
and
I hope so bad that they're dead.
I'm
so tired of the Chiefs.
I understand why you feel that way, but I've just seen too much of the Chiefs to write them off just yet. Like, I want to do the same thing. I'm very tempted to get on your side with that for sure.
It's really Travis Kelce. I don't know. He's not a. I don't like him.
Really?
I don't like the way he plays. He's dirty. Yeah.
He does talk a lot of trash.
He does talk
but
a lot
so
of
does
trash.
Baker Mayfield. And do you like Baker Mayfield?
I love Baker Mayfield.
I'm indifferent.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to think who else talks trash that we can go down.
Well, it's the Chiefs too. So it's Travis Kelce on the Chiefs.
Right. I don't even think it's the talking trash with Travis. I think it's the whining to the refs.
There it is.
And with Mahomes as well. And would that call be made for another quarterback? I think that's where the apathy has really.
I think because the Patriots aren't the Patriots anymore, I don't like the Chiefs.
Okay, let's do it like this. Who are our, after 2 weeks of Jaguars football,
Yep.
who are our like top 3 MVPs, and then who are our kind of like, dumpster fires that are kind of
the question marks. So who needs to elevate their game? 100%. So obviously, we'll start with that. Obviously, Brian Thomas Jr., I believe he will elevate his game. I'm not too concerned on that front. I would say, although it certainly looked more improved week 2, the interior of that defensive line is still a question mark. Curious to see how that sorts out with Mason Smith now back up this week against the Cincinnati Bengals. How healthy is he? What does this mean for veterans like Bing Saunders, Austin Johnson, and their availability moving forward? And then I don't even know who number 3 would be, if I'm being completely honest. Because those were my 2 biggest concerns coming out of week 1 after a week 1 victory. The interior of the defensive line got gashed by Chuba Hubbard early. They were able to settle in the second half. And then Brian Thomas Jr. just trying to get him back on track to what we saw at the end of last year.
I certainly won't put anyone on the defense in the needs to improve list.
Okay.
Because we look like a fucking all-star
like a football
defense.
team.
Yeah,
it looks good.
And that's a good thing, right? And that's what we said in the press box. And, certainly I know there were Jaguar fans out there who were triggered when Jake Browning has an opportunity to go down the field after the Jaguars turn the ball over on 4th down deep in Bengals territory. There's people who are triggered and they say, here he goes again. Liam Cohen may not know it, but Jaguar fans know what this man is capable of doing against the team in this uniform.
For sure.
But ultimately, I had a reporter lean over and say to me, man, this is fun. Like, this is enjoyable and it's aesthetically pleasing and they look like a professional operation. So I have full confidence they will remain a professional operation. I'm curious with some of the defenses that they're going to play in the next few weeks where maybe the level of competition is a step above what we saw from the Panthers and the Bengals so far through 2 weeks, how they fare. But ultimately, if they keep running the ball like they've been running it, I mean, that's
the limit.
That's the thing. As long as you can run the ball and free Trevor up, because now you're no longer the one-dimensional offense we saw the last 2.5 years outside of a stretch run in 22. That's where then you can actually start seeing the Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion, that we saw at Clemson. Because an underrated storyline is that he, still shares a backfield with Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne's the ACC's all-time leading rusher. Why were you not running the man more? Why were you not able to create an effective running game with someone who, quite frankly, was a massive part of Trevor Lawrence's success at the college level? So he should be in the professional level too.
How do you feel about them getting rid of Bigsby?
They have full confidence in those 2 rookies.
Yeah.
And
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I hate to see Bigsby go.
Yeah.
But after seeing what Tootin can do, is it Tootin or
yes,
Tutton?
Tootin.
Okay,
Yep.
he is a dog. And I think that it also kind of frees up the Travis Etienne conversation because it's like, I don't know. This year's Travis Etienne, it's crazy because it almost feels like he's fighting for that job and he really
He's in a
wants
contract
to be,
year,
Yeah,
to be
and
clear.
it feels like he knows that there's pressure now because there's a good running back right behind him. And I mean, I'll tell you right now, if we want to talk about MVPs, Travis Etienne is number one for me.
I would agree with that.
Just because I thought that we were going to go into this year with a committee of running backs, and it was going to be like shared, carries for everyone. And
Everybody gets a drive. You get a drive. You get a drive. You get a drive.
100%. And just kind of see, like, after the first few weeks, like, who's kind of carrying the load. And then Travis Etienne coming out week 1 and just dominating is like, I mean, that one run that he had, we haven't seen that since his rookie year.
He would tell you the same thing, by the way, because he said to us, he's like, I haven't had a run like that in quite some time. So in years past in college, I probably look up at the Jumbotron to have a better idea of where everybody is around me,
For sure.
but hadn't had a run like that in 3+ years. So wasn't expecting it. I would definitely put him in that MVP for the Jags through 2 weeks of the season competition. As far as Tootin goes and the decision to trade Tank Bigsby, a lot of it has to deal with Bashal Tootin's their home run threat. And Tank Bigsby is a very talented runner. He has great vision. You could make an argument, in the very least in the 2024 season, he saw the field better than Travis Etienne. I think Travis Etienne is seeing the field here in 2025 as well as he has seen it at the professional level. The patience is there. I also think that part of it, and this will be my second MVP, offensive line coach Sean Surratt has created an offensive line and a system where not only are the tackles getting help in the chipping and in pass protection, but they also have created that inner plate that Liam Cohen and James Gladstone talked about when they took the job here in Jacksonville, that they needed to fortify that interior of the middle just to give not only Trevor Lawrence a chance, but to give those running backs a chance. And so they can let the play develop in front of them before they make a decision, as opposed to you get the ball and there's pressure in your face and now you have to find the hole instantly.
For sure.
There's an extra split second, and I believe that is absolutely a testament to what this new group and this new coaching staff has brought, but also Travis's development in the offseason and having that extra split second to make a decision.
For sure. I think it's really cool, too, because, our running back group right now is kind of giving last year's Lions. Like, it feels like Travis Etienne is David Montgomery and Tootin is Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think give it a few more weeks and let Tootin kind of really feel it out, and we're going to get that more Jahmyr Gibbs type of running from him. But, I mean, it's amazing. Even Brendan Strange, picking up, I thought I'll be
You thought he killed a guy against the Panthers? Because a lot of people did. A lot of people thought he killed a guy.
Also, when we traded Evan Ingram, I was almost in tears. You know
I was
what I mean?
upset.
I was very
I have
upset.
Evan Ingram socks.
He has Evan Ingram jersey.
I have a jersey.
I love Evan too. But that one for me, unfortunately,
He only got the ball in the playoffs, it seemed. Like later off in the season is when they would start using him.
We weren't in the playoffs last year. I know
There was 1 year. No,
in
obviously not last
22,
year,
in 22,
yeah.
yes, in 22, it really picked up in that second half. In 23, he's one catch away from the single season record for tight ends and receptions in the National Football League's history. Evan's still a great player. I know in Denver, they're looking at him as that joker because he is more of a wide receiver, but he's in a tight end's body. And what can you do with that? His blocking has grown during his 3 years in Jacksonville and now in Denver. Wish him nothing but the best. Ultimately, with the type of offense that Liam Cohen was going to run, with such an emphasis on running the ball, having 12 and 13 personnel and having 2 tight end sets, but 2 tight ends who may not be as involved in the receiving game, but can leak out and can give you a safety valve, that's not really Evan Ingram's game. He is a bigger bodied receiving threat that you can flex to the outside. You can also bring him into the slot. When your plan is, at the time when they released him, Brian Thomas Jr. will see more snaps in the slot. We have Parker Washington. He's going to take over the reps for Christian Kirk. Oh, now, by the way, you also added Travis Hunter. He's going to be playing from the slot, too. At that point in time, it's kind of like the decision to trade Tank Bigsby. There's just not enough touches to go around to justify keeping the player on the roster.
100%. And I'm honestly proud of us for getting the picks that we did for Tank.
Yeah.
A lot of people were criticizing that, like just letting him go. But those picks, those are valuable picks.
And hey, Bryce Huff, 1 sack. We got 7 more to go, folks, and then that's going to be a 4th and a 6th round pick coming back the Jaguars. Wow.
Yeah, this is exciting. Like I love where we're at right now. For one thing that I really noticed in the Cincy game was we were never out. Like, we were winning majority of the game, but even at the end of the game, like, you're never out of the fight. Even though they really, Jake Browning, I don't even want to get into it.
I've got a little bit of analysis on that because, you know, on the podcast I'm doing with the folks over at Action Sports Jacks now, Club 904, Tuesdays, Thursdays, 1 p.m. live on YouTube and X.
Good plug.
Dan Griffiths brought it up, and then Ty Dunn of Go Long TD brought it up as well. Jake Browning, when he steps in under center for the Bengals, Zach Taylor immediately goes, hurry up. They go, get the ball out in under 2.7 seconds. Joe Burrow, yes, a top 5 quarterback when healthy, because there's trust in the play caller in that quarterback. He'll hang in that pocket for better or worse, because I know that offensive line is anemic. He will hang in the pocket and in turn give your defense an opportunity to get after him and force him to escape the pocket. With Jake Browning, it was just quick throw over the
ball
middle.
To Jamar Chase or T. Higgins. And it was just like, when I'm sitting there screaming at my TV, I'm like, you know where the ball's going to go. There's not a lot of options here.
Well,
really,
it's going to Jamar Chase because he's got 14 catches at this point. Like, I tweeted out the box score. I'm like, just going to take a guess here, and there's a good chance the ball's going to go to him at some point in time, especially with 2 minutes to go. You're not going to run the ball. You've only run for 40-some-odd yards at that point with Chase Brown. You know they're going to throw it. So
what are we doing, like, if we could go back and just tweak some things to kind of save us at the end of that game? Because all the points really started happening once Jake Browning got in, you know?
But also the interceptions happened once Jake Browning got in.
That's facts.
I mean, it's funny because we definitely in the post-game locker room were talking with players about Devin Lloyd and the interception that could have been a pick six. The reality is, and Liam Cohen said it on Monday, when you go back and watch the tape, there's more of a case that Trayvon Walker forced a fumble against Joe Burrow on the Bengals opening drive. How would that have changed the momentum of this game? Ultimately, the easy answer to your question is catch the ball.
Yeah.
If De'Ami Brown catches the ball, we don't even have to go down the Brian Thomas Jr. road. If De'Ami Brown catches that ball in the end zone, it's a touchdown.
100%.
We don't have to have discourse about hospital balls, about was it a PI on Travis Hunter or not on the defensive end. I think it's that simple. I think defensively they're going to be okay.
For sure.
I think that there were moments in the preseason where they struggled against hurry up offenses, but they adjusted against the Saints and the Dolphins in preseason game number 2 and number 3. And I would expect them to adjust and be ready for a similar quick passing attack in the future.
For sure. It's very interesting. There's so many aspects of the Travis Hunter thing where it's like, you know, he looks very good on offense. He also looks extremely comfortable on defense, which is a good thing. But it doesn't feel like he's being utilized as much as he possibly could be. But like you said, it's like
they're probably scared. He's 190 pounds.
So really good shout today from Ty Dunn when we had him on the pod. And I've mentioned this to a couple people around the league in the last, I did the pod 5 hours ago, something like that. I've mentioned to a couple different people. He said it's kind of like when you bring a new quarterback into the system from college and you're not trying to overload them with too much and you don't want to have this extensive playbook. It's the same management that's going on with Travis Hunter. Now, there's a case to be made, and I've had multiple executives around the league, past and present, who have said, wouldn't it behoove the player to grow and just focus on wide receiver for right now, and then you add the defensive back knowledge later on? But if you don't have him ready with the playbook now, then how can you call upon him week 13 in a pinch when you need him to play defensive back? So you need to have him ready. I think, unfortunately, if the goal is by year 2, he's playing full-time at both spots like he did at Colorado, this has to be the path forward. It has to be, we're just going to give him a little bit here and a little bit there. We're only going to, as Liam Cohen noted to us in training camp, we're maybe not going to have him out there in 12 personnel. There's parts of the playbook that he is not a part of solely because we don't want to give him too much too early and have his head in the words of Quincy Williams, in a beehive.
One thing I do love, though, is his energy when he's on the field. Like
and it's authentic, to be clear. I want to make sure that's
authentic. Oh, yeah, you can tell. You can tell.
He's always been that way.
Yeah.
And it's so cool that, like, he's out there chirping players because you can see some of them defensive guys, like, kind of talking shit after he gets off the ground or, like that one, the first catch he had, the guy was immediately talking shit and he just turns around. He's so fired up. I mean, I'm sitting there like
he's having such a great time out there.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Dude loves football.
Yeah.
And, I'll tell you guys. So the week of the draft, doing my intel about the Jags around the league, and I went it was the Monday before the draft. I'll never forget this as long as I live. I go to the gym, I come home, I shower, and kind of clarity, how after you work out, your endorphins are running. And I look at my fiance and I just go, why don't they just trade all the picks for Travis Hunter? He's the number 1 guy on their board. He fills 2 voids. He has that energy and that love of football that is priority number one for this new regime. And Kevin's like, no, that's malpractice. You can't do it. And I'm like, but what if that's the goal? Like, what if? And then as Monday turns into Tuesday, turns into Wednesday, obviously we start hearing, and really it wasn't until I think Wednesday night that I got a text of like, maybe. And I was like, you don't, like, you really? Like, you think? And they're like, well, James is talking to a lot of different people. And
sure enough,
it was around 4:00 that day that I got a phone call that was like, oh, no, like, they're going to do it. And I was like, dang. But again, because that is sticking to who you believe you are. And that is what I have to give this regime a ton of credit. And time will tell, their favorite 3 words. When they say they're going to do something, they do it. Outside of running the ball on 3rd and 2 against the Cincinnati Bengals at midfield. They said they were going to fix the run game. Number 1 rushing offense in the National Football League through 2 weeks of the season. They said we want to be the more physical outfit. We want guys who love football. That has been a priority day in and day out. And if you can articulate it and then be about it, yeah, you may lose some games. That's okay for me, because if they can just be the same people from an ideological perspective day in and day out. Look, you mentioned the Detroit Lions. They won 3 games Dan Campbell's first year. They started 1-7 his second year. I'm okay with that with Jacksonville. And look, I know there's people hearing that who say, no, we can't. If it means long-term sustainable success, like you're seeing with the Lions right now, if there's a process and if you truly believe in what you are doing each and every day.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think he's just a wild card right now. It's like you can see there's potential on both sides of the ball. I almost would like to see him playing more defensive snaps. Like
and there's an argument to be made for that.
I know he's great at slot receiver. I think that he is like a very, I think that honestly on offense, it feels like he's more of a distraction piece sometimes.
Well, that's what people have said through 2 weeks. So he's too much of a gadget player. Yeah. And yes, he takes coverage away from Brian Thomas Jr., and there's value in that. But ultimately,
I think
he had 1,200 yards at Colorado last year. Let him line up outside.
Come on.
For sure. And it's very interesting. I feel like once he gets his first touchdown or his first interception, I think that energy and that comfortability that he had possessed at Colorado, I think it'll really start to shine. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things about this Jaguars team that just gives me hope for the future. I absolutely love it. And then this week we got Houston. I don't know if you watched the game last night with Houston and the Bucs. I mean, Houston is looking, it's so interesting because we went into this season, I almost felt like it was a guaranteed lock we were going to win this division. And then you got the Colts coming out with Daniel Jones, who in a million years would have thought that would have been
Again, the
good.
New Orleans Saints were 2-0 this time a year ago. What went wrong there? They picked 9th in the NFL draft. Continue.
Okay, true. You make a good point. But I certainly wasn't expecting the Colts to be one of the number 1 teams in this division. Along with the Houston Texans, they look like studs out there as well. Their defense is looking strong. And it's very interesting right now where our division is at, because besides the Titans, we look like a pretty dominant division.
Yes. And look, I feel like that happens every single year in the National Football League. I go back to 22, the last time the Jaguars made the postseason. They had the NFC East and the AFC West on their schedule. And so many went, oh my God, the AFC West, that's going to be a gauntlet. That's not going to be a walk in the park. The NFC East, whatever. Maybe you lose to the Eagles and you'll beat the other 3. Everything will be, hunky-dory, all fine and dandy. And the Jaguars went 1-3 against the NFC East, a division that then produced 3 playoff teams, and they went 3-1, not including a playoff win over the Chargers against the AFC West. So you can't predict baseball, Susan, in the words of Susan Waldman and the Yankees broadcast team on the radio, and you can't predict the Jacksonville Jaguars in the National Football League.
Cannot.
100%. Do you have anything else on the Jags?
On the Jags, how do you feel about the little drama between Liam and Trevor on the field?
It's a nothing burger.
That's nothing. Yeah.
No, dude,
he spoke on it today or yesterday.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
So I'm not trying to take a victory lap, but it is so funny from the last time I joined you guys and where I think all of us were with the previous regime, the Jaguars at large, the long-term picture, and then it was a week and a half, 2 weeks later, sitting on my couch watching the Bills game, and I'm like, yeah, no, we got to start looking for head coaches right now. Who's in the mix?
Sure.
And it's nothing against Doug, by the way. I have immense respect for Doug Peterson, and I know he knows that. And I think if he was to walk in here right now, we'd be good. We'd be chill.
Oh my God, yeah. No, we were all big Doug Pearson fans.
The reality, though, is if something is stale and it's simply good, it is the enemy of great, and you need to constantly be seeking what will give you a higher ceiling. And granted, in taking that swing, you never know if the grass is actually greener on the other side. But the one thing the Jaguars had not done in almost 13 years of Shad Khan's ownership is go out and hire a young, offensive-minded, genius play caller type.
Yep.
And that's where, Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson, Bobby Slowick before he got fired,
Yep.
Kellen Moore, that's where, Joe Brady, that's where a lot of those names immediately started getting tossed out in the fall. And Liam was one that, I identified pretty early. And
I just love watching what Ben Johnson's doing right now at the Bears. And you're like, thank the Lord. Like, you want to talk about dodge? I almost cried when we didn't get Ben Johnson. And now looking at it, you're like, we kind of dodged I'm not going to say dodged a bullet. But I do think that with Ben, I'm glad we got our guy. That's all I'm going to say.
So it's very unique for me because I just liked what Liam was, and I also have friends who worked with him at the collegiate level, and this is, going back to last October. And so in infancy, I liked the energy that I saw, and I promise we'll get back to the Trevor of it all because it does relate back.
You're good.
I liked the passion, the fire, the back and forth with Baker Mayfield. Sure, there's going to be people who question, he bopped from here to there to there to everywhere. Look, man, welcome to America. It's manifest destiny, dude. Keep moving up the ladder. That's what America is all about. But I digress. The Ben Johnson to it, I've gotten to know more than one person just in NFL circles who have worked with both individuals. And it is not that Ben Johnson is not a brilliant mind and a brilliant play caller, because he is. And he expects accountability and the best from his players. And I do believe at some point in time we are going to see that from Chicago. But in terms of personality, in terms of bringing the fire and passion, but not to the point that perhaps your players may tune it out, more likely with Ben Johnson than with Liam Cohen, was what I heard from people who had worked with both guys, just because of the type of personality. Liam is the type where he's going to, as Trevor said, he's going to chew your ass out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then he's going to love on you 5 minutes later. Same with defensive coordinator Anthony Campanile. That's not to say Ben Johnson isn't like that. Ben Johnson's just a little bit more tightly wound.
Yeah.
And that's where I think Liam's passion, it's the perfect match for 16, because 16 needs someone to light the fire underneath him. He would tell you the same thing. I'm not breaking any news here.
For sure.
I mean, I went on the radio in Orlando today and I was like, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if there has ever been a coach that has ripped him a new one, and he's been like, yes, keep giving me that, because he does want to be coached. In my 5 years of knowing the kid, I believe Trevor Lawrence wants to be coached, and that's being coached.
Yeah.
That's
For
not
sure.
that's
You're
not
gonna get
yelling
yelled
for this
at.
right. That's not yelling for the sake of yelling. That's
Yeah.
asking the player to do more, and the player saying, "Coach, I got this. We're good. It's okay." And that is a two-way conversation that, I've heard from multiple people. The conversation continued as soon as they got to the sideline, as soon as they got back on the charter plane. It's not hard feelings. It's football.
100%. It's very interesting because Trevor has made a huge jump this year. You just feel like he's kind of looking for that bigger play as opposed to just trying to get the ball out. I mean, before he had no choice. It's like you're either going to get the ball out or you're going to be on the ground.
But he's not trying.
He's not forcing it.
No, he's not forcing it because he has options.
For sure.
And that's the goal of the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan-based offense that Liam Cohen has brought to Jacksonville. The idea of tying the footwork to the progressions, the idea of having multiple options on a given play, like having multiple safety valves. Who wouldn't want that? You don't have to constantly go for the kill shot, which it felt like way too often in 2024. That's where Trevor Lawrence was going. I mean, look no further than he was 5th in the National Football League in average depth of target. So he's trying to chuck the ball downfield, and yet he had the 5th shortest time to throw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Make that make sense to me.
No, for sure. It makes zero sense.
Exactly.
100%. And I wonder where his stats would land on the completion percentage of a lot of those, because he would try to force the ball down, but majority of the time, as soon as the ball leaves his hand, he's on the ground.
Right.
And so it's obviously there's a lot of things that kind of played into Trevor struggling last year. And just seeing him back comfortable again. And it's so cool. They're all gelled out there. Everyone's having a good time. They're all just working as a fucking unit again. It feels good to be a Jags fan right now. I'll tell you all that. And 1, 2, 3, Duval. But so I want to talk about the new podcast you started doing, Club 904.
Yep.
So I've tuned into a couple episodes.
Love
Very
it.
interesting. I mean,
Thank
obviously you're the fucking GOAT. We don't got to keep, we'll always give you your flowers on this
I appreciate
podcast. But just the format, everything about it, go ahead and break it down for us.
Yeah, I think in this day and age, and the stats certainly back it up, more people are watching YouTube than are watching terrestrial television at this day and age. And the fact that on a smart TV, you can pull YouTube up, the fact that so many people, whether they're working in an office or working from home, have a second screen that they keep up, whether that's for music, whether that's for the purposes of working, maybe not so much working. Yeah. It's one of those things where, there is engagement to be had and interaction with a live audience. But also I think that podcasts like yours have now taken the place of what was syndicated terrestrial broadcast programs on any of the major networks, or even, a complement to the Netflixes, the Hulus, et cetera. And so kind of the thought for Club 904 was want to provide more in-depth Jaguars conversation, but knowing that with my other new job, which I know we'll get into here in a bit with ESPN, I've approached over the last year and a half, 2 years, my reporting on the National Football League much more from a national perspective. And so bringing national voices as well as local voices to one podcast. And so we can have a 30,000-foot view of the Jaguars, but we can also have the in-depth number crunching view as well. Not to mention going behind enemy lines, bringing in guests from other beats who cover other teams.
For sure.
Film breakdown. The 1-2 step is what we're workshopping with one Austin Lane. So getting a little film. We did that for the first time last week. So awesome. One offensive, one defensive play with Austin. Had Dan Griffiths on today. He sent me, we have a workshop name, but we're going to call his segment too. So again, trying to bring Jaguar fans more of a nuanced conversation. And then on Sundays, giving you guys a space post-game to let it out a couple hours after the game. Let those emotions out, live Q&A, let you hear from the boys in the locker room.
For sure.
It's something that matters, and the fact that so much of our video consumption comes from your phone, the fact that you can listen to this on YouTube, X, Facebook, Twitch, you can listen on demand wherever you get your podcasts. That's where media is in 2025.
Yeah. You're so right, because you see a lot of these bigger television shows where they might let their anchor go. If it's news, especially, you see it a ton. Mm-hmm. But a lot of these people, they'll just whatever happens, controversy or some things pop up, and then that person goes and has twice the amount of success, sometimes more, on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And right. You're so right. People are consuming stuff a lot more on YouTube. I mean, for me personally, I'd pull up YouTube on my TV. I really don't go unless it's a football game.
No, and what does that say? Because 5-6 years ago, would you have just been pulling up YouTube on your TV?
Never.
No, even YouTube has a football game on there now.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
100%, yeah.
And I say all that, and meanwhile, I'm also part of the mothership now and on ESPN, so I probably should also be promoting that, yes, people do still watch terrestrial television. They do still consume games on the radio as well.
That's a perfect segue, too, because I want to talk about your new deal with ESPN and all the details behind that, so fill us in.
Yeah, so excited to be in my one-year trial program with the Walt Disney Company. It's been awesome so far. The sales pitch was we're going to move you around to some different places, try you out with some different co-hosts on the radio side, and we'll see where it goes from there. So it's all about stacking great days. I've had a ton of fun with Q Myers and the game night crew from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern, been filling in there pretty much the last 3-4 weeks, one day a week, which has been awesome. Amber and Ian, been filling in for Amber when she's on vacation in the summer with Ian Fitzsimmons, who of course is also on the sidelines of the biggest college football games on ESPN radio each and every Saturday, doing the weekend shows. Got to do our college football primetime week one of the college football season, which was awesome, fast and furious. The Knowles knock off Alabama.
Go Knowles, baby.
Yo, chill. That's crazy.
Let's
I'm a Bama fan,
because he's a Bama fan.
We had Earl Little, right live after, that's the coolest thing for me is they just text you and they're like, hey, Earl Little, who arguably was the best defensive player on the field for either team, for Florida State that game, they're like, yeah, you're going to interview him. We got to tape it ahead of time. Can you quick hop on the headset at 8 o'clock before you go live at 10? I'm like, yeah, sure. So fire up the Comrex and, do the interview, and you're just dang. They're like, oh, yeah, you're going to hop on with him. And then we may have a player from tonight's WNBA game that you're going to record an interview with. So it's been awesome. I've made a lot of cool new friends. And I've got to, reconnect with some old ones like Tommy Castellanos, the quarterback of Florida State, formerly of Ware County.
Go Knowles, baby.
Go Knowles. Very proud of Tommy, somebody who I've known since his freshman year at Ware County. So very excited to see what comes for Florida State this year.
That guy's a dog.
Exactly.
The Florida State looks incredible this year. I'm not going to lie.
And there are people who had questions because Mike Norvell did not make practice open to the media. He certainly made changes that, in my opinion, and maybe hindsight's 2020, but even in the moment, I appreciated because let's just say not every program in the state of Florida said, you know what, we're not getting the job done. I need to go hire an offense coordinator. I need to make a change at defensive coordinator, even if my friends are on the defensive staff. And that's what he did. He was unafraid to make that change, walking the walk, not just talking the talk like we talked about. And Tommy is someone who, look, I don't want to speak to what happened at Boston College. There obviously was a coaching change. He left midseason. He was Mr. Boston College, and so not really sure what happened there. But he's a guy who's always been all heart. Like, that's just who he is. He's
100%.
undersized. He's probably not going to play quarterback at the next level, but he will find a way to play at the National Football League level just because he has that unbridled energy and that growth mindset mentality.
For sure. I hate, even speaking on how FSU put the beat down on Alabama because obviously, as you know, I'm a big Bama fan. But I will say that FSU has made a huge turn this season. It's so fun watching them now because before it was almost like even if Bama's playing them, oh my God, it was like it's really difficult to watch. But this year, I mean, they are electric. And, I mean, I know Joey's been waiting on this for a long time. So
I just need the Jags to turn it back up a little bit.
No, Jags
I know. But last weekend, Florida State was off.
Would you take a competitive Florida State and a competitive Jaguars or a mediocre one of the two and then an elite other one? Which one would you choose?
Elite Jags all day.
Okay,
Jags.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I've told more than
agree.
one person that at least in the 7 years that I've been here, in the years that the Gators aren't that good, the Jags are pretty good. So
The Gators sucked.
Gators are
it's early.
awful.
It's early, and time will tell.
Well, they're
but-
still out of the playoffs, pretty much.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, South Florida may be in the playoffs, so you better look. That loss may come back and look like a great loss when all is said and done.
100%. No, the college football world is extremely interesting this year. There's so many teams that are kind of popping up that you really didn't. I mean, you kind of saw some glimpses of USF last year, but I mean, they're looking like a real good program. So.
Yeah, Alex Golish, if he's not coaching at Florida next year, he's going to be coaching at another Power 4 program.
For sure.
From the Heupel, Matt Campbell tree. He actually was in Iowa at Iowa State when I was there. Those boys in Ames still will go to bat for Alex Golish. I do believe he will be a Power 4 coach in less than a calendar year, less than 5 months' time. Byron Brown, I actually put him on game night on ESPN Radio. I actually made for our Week 1 Heisman ballot. I put him in the top 5, and everyone's like, no, you did not just put the USF quarterback in here. Like, all he did was beat Boise State. Boise State was the 25th team in the country, just made the playoff, folks. I know they lost Ashton Genty, and they're all looking at me like, I can't believe you went for the deep cut. What happened on Saturday?
Hey, man, there she goes. Hey, she's a go for a reason, no, for sure. No, they're playing their ass off, and I mean, I'm so glad Bama kind of turned the corner too, because after week 1, I was about to just stop watching Bama games for the year, and we're back. We're looking elite as well, so I'm not writing any Gator fans out there, just go ahead and ignore the last 2 minutes of this
Cancel
podcast,
your subscription. You don't need to watch it.
For sure. But no, shout out to you with everything you're doing with ESPN. I'm like genuinely extremely proud of you because I've been listening to you on the radio for so long now. And just, it was already such an honor having you on the pod the first time because it was like, damn, I just got finished listening to you at lunchtime, But no, just like now you can tell that you're the type of person, you're the type of reporter that I love when you get to connect with the big names that we all care about and the people that we want to listen to because you ask them the good questions and you really get down in the nitty gritty of what you want to know as a listener. And for you, I'm really glad you got this opportunity.
Boys.
You're so fluid and so knowledgeable. It's honest. It's very impressive.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody in Jacksonville's support. I know there were a lot of rumors flying around that I moved to Indianapolis or Nashville or something like that. I know Joey wants to get to some women's basketball talk. We will. But just because Caitlin Clark exists and may or may not be my friend doesn't mean I'm moving to Indianapolis. So we can all just relax here a bit. But I appreciate everybody, sticking with me, and I appreciate everybody following along. And of course, you can listen on the ESPN app, SiriusXM Channel 80, the Watch ESPN, ESPN.com link that I always tweet out when I'm on, and a lot of different ways you can interact with me and whichever show that I'm on.
Is majority of that like on-demand radio? Like we can go and listen to this after you film it.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to catch it on
No,
the TV.
you can.
Okay.
Although game night, and actually I got to talk to my bosses about this. I've told this to more than one person in the last 24 hours. I need to reach out because for some reason it's not showing up on the app. But if I fill in on Amber and Ian, it's easy. And it's pretty cool when you go on the ESPN app, the all-new ESPN app, by the way, which you should be subscribing to that. And
if y'all don't have the all-new ESPN app, what are we
come
doing?
on,
Seriously.
folks. But when you go on it and you go to the podcast and you scroll through and it actually says Ian and Mia O'Brien filling in for Amber discuss blah 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 blah.
How does that feel for you?
Oh, that's when you're
Dream come true?
oh yeah, you're like, okay, we're stacking good days, we're still striving for even more, but there's moments where you have to just take a step back and appreciate it. And I joked.
You've come a long way. It's so sick.
I joked with you guys, and I know he won't care that I share this story. So must have been like 6th or 7th. It was my first time doing the 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. shift during the week. And we have Jeff Passan, ESPN's baseball insider, on, and it was 2 days before the trade deadline. He comes on the air during a break, and we're like, shooting the shit. And then we come on the air, and he's talking about how dull it's been. There's like no moves yet. It's pretty quiet. And I go, well, Jeff, I don't want to tell you this, but Juan Soto just fouled a ball off his foot and now has been ruled out of the game. I don't know what that means. And he goes, Mia, you can't say that to me 2 days before the MLB trade deadline. What are we doing? And I was like cracking up because I knew I was like riling him up. But then I woke up the next morning to a message from Jeff's checking in and making sure, like, hey, I wasn't trying to offend you. Like, I have a dry sense of humor. I really appreciate you guys having me on. Like, that's when I was like, okay, like, if I'm waking up to a message from Jeff Passan, like,
you're good.
Yeah, something's going right.
I think I'm doing something right. But, hey, listen, in the words of James Gladstone, time will tell. We stack good days, and I'm greatly, greatly appreciative to Justin Craig and the whole team at ESPN for bringing me on.
Yeah, definitely good pick on y'all. I mean, Jesus,
good job.
if y'all didn't take her, we were about to give her a deal over at OGSP. Like, God.
I don't think we make enough yet.
Well, so the other thing, I didn't even tell you guys. So the other thing that's cool with my ESPN job, because I'm in my trial program, I actually was able to elevate my position over at the University of North Florida in the leadership department. And so that's my desk job now, getting to work with our leadership students, our student athletes over at UNF.
No way.
And so, so it's been awesome, which I was an academic coach, AKA a fancy word for an adjunct without a master's for the last 4 years. But shout out to Dr. Olson, who loves the shout outs. So we give Dr. Olson a shout out. And
shout out Dr. Olson.
Shout out to his son, Gabe, who's one of the lead student assistants at USF for the football team.
Oh, shout out Gabe.
Shout out Gabe Olson, Nice High School Bulls. But, I called Dr. Olson, and, I've now been able to, work over there. And, it's been awesome. But, to that point, it's been very flexible. And I forget the point that I was going to make, but it was something with ESPN and with regards to UNF. But
was it ESPN Fantasy? Because I want to talk about that.
Oh,
okay, hold on. Before we get
segue.
into there, I have a couple more questions about the ESPN thing.
Yeah,
so whenever you tune in and you're doing the show with
Yes.
these people, do you have a spot set up at your crib where
I do. Home studio.
That's where you've been doing most of your pods from. Okay.
I've got the Comrex sent to my house, and so it's really nice when you do that 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. shift, because it's very nice when you can just go into your bedroom and crawl into your bed 5 minutes later.
No,
that part's really nice, and I haven't had to do any early morning shows yet, but if at some point I do,
well, the best part is you just roll out of bed, make some coffee, and get in there.
And you keep your pajama bottoms on, and as long as the top looks presentable and you're going to work, like, hey, you're good to go.
I love it. That was one thing that I did really enjoy about when we used to have the studio at our house, which you had obviously been to. It was great because if we got Mia O'Brien at noon, then I can sleep until 11:30 and get up, and we just got 10 steps away and we're in the studio.
Exactly.
And I did love that aspect of it. Obviously, eventually you grow and you got to move into a different space, but I love how you have that set up at your, like, it just looks very cozy. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, because sometimes you see it and it's like they go a little bit too hardcore with like the backdrop and all this stuff. And I'm like, brother, we know this is right next to your bathroom. You know what I'm saying?
All I need is my framed Gardner Minshew story in the Florida Times Union and Caitlin Clark next to me, and the power compels to therefore put forth a great show.
100%. So let's jump into Joey's question. We want to talk a little ESPN fantasy football,
Yeah,
right?
let's get that fantasy
Okay,
going.
so how many leagues are you in this year?
I am in 3.
Okay,
all
cool.
on ESPN Fantasy. You should be there too.
Obviously, if you guys aren't on ESPN, that's where the OGSP Fantasy League
Hey,
is. Like, we'll
now we're
never
talking.
switch. Come on now. Come on. We ain't rookies in the fantasy game.
So how are your leagues doing? How you performing?
So scrolling through them right now. So first, shout out to the family league. Shout out to the Head family, who has indoctrinated me into their fantasy league over the last 5 years. 1-1, just took an L to Ian. Shout out Ian, Florida State Seminole. In the 4th and Gold league, I am 1-1 after picking up a dub. Today. And then I'm also 1-1 after taking an L to Mark Long of the Associated Press in the Jaguars Media League.
Damn.
Do your leagues...
So 1-1. All 3 are 1-1, just like the Jaguars. It's okay.
I would hate
rosters
to have
the
me
same
in our
or-
league.
What's that?
Are your rosters similar?
In some leagues, there's the reality is that I didn't want to have the same quarterback in multiple leagues, just off principle, because you never know what could happen with injuries.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, one of the leagues, and I believe it was either the 4th and Gold or maybe it was the family league, the draft was going on as I was calling a Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp game on the FanDuel Sports Network with Scott Kornberg. And so midway through the draft, which would have been around 7:30, had been going on since 7. We're in the middle of calling a game in the 5th inning, and all of a sudden it just pops in my head, and I went, oh my goodness. I never logged in, and I was gonna have it like up in the background as I'm calling the game, and so I was like, well, let's see who was drafted to me. So I do have Jaden Daniels in 2 fantasy leagues, which
that's who I got.
Yeah, I have him in 2, so not great, especially with the knee injury if he doesn't play this week.
Well, he's still putting up like, especially how shitty they played in his week 2 game, like. He honestly put up some pretty good numbers. I think 19
he
points
salvaged in the second half. Yeah,
For sure.
I was on ESPN that night, and I'm like watching it, and I'm just like,
this hurts.
Do something for me.
I was high on Jaden Daniels this year for sure. I got him in both leagues.
Well, I'm also high on his running back, especially in light of Austin Eckler's injury.
For sure.
Bill, Krosky Merritt, all about Bill, little Bill. Go look it up, folks. We love Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, now known as Bill, and unfortunately, he got me just 1.9 points in fantasy this past weekend against the Green Bay Packers.
Give him a few more weeks. I'm on that train with you. I think that Crooksy Merritt is going to be a fucking dog.
Yeah,
seriously,
he's good. I've got James Conner in 2 leagues too. That was unintentional. I've got
James Conner.
So let's go through position by position.
Yeah.
If you out of all 3 of your leagues, who's your number 1 quarterback wise?
So I've got Jaden Daniels in 2, and I got Baker Mayfield in 1, and that would be my pick.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you can never go wrong with Lamar, Josh Allen, Patrick
Sure.
Mahomes. Like, I totally get that. But if you're not going to get one of those 3 dudes, Jalen Hurts maybe, but you can't guarantee in the passing game or, for that matter, like if the Eagles decide.
He gets those 1-yard touchdowns.
Right.
So.
The Eagles decide, okay, now we're going to be like in the Super Bowl. It was like, okay, now we're not going to run the ball, and now we're just going to throw the ball all over the yard. You can't guarantee what game plan you're going to get week to week, but to your point, Joey, you're going to get a winner. So he's going to find a way to score.
100%. That's a good point. So let's go running back.
Running back. So, yeah, I was really high on my Bill pick, and obviously that didn't work out. Saquon Barkley's the obvious answer.
For sure.
I think that, sneaky one for me, because I didn't pick him because I was logged out of my draft at this point. Alvin Kamara has been interesting.
Yep.
From boots on the ground, I know Kellen Moore is going to want to tote the rock in New Orleans, and so I wouldn't be surprised to see, I don't want to say he's going to go back to his 2017, 2018 production, but I wouldn't be surprised if he, especially given their quarterback situation, becomes even more of a focal point and perhaps a fantasy.
How do you feel
darling.
about Derek?
Dude, he got me 2.3 points.
I
this
know, it
weekend.
hurts.
I don't know how.
But last week we get 27
the week before
points.
that, right? Exactly.
The thing is, I've had Derrick Henry since he's been in the league. He's always been on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
And this year, Joey took him 2 picks before me. I almost shed a tear. And after that week 1 performance, like Derrick Henry will always be my guy. I don't care if it's 5 seasons from now. He's getting picked my first running back.
It's like how my team name is always Windows Down and Cruz, because once upon a time, Victor Cruz, Liam Cohen's college roommate, was on my fantasy team circa like 2012, 2013.
Cohen's
yeah, you didn't know that?
No way.
Yeah, look up the video. Check out the video.
That is hilarious.
Yep,
we got to ask Liam Cohen to do the salsa next time you see him.
Right, exactly. But no, so my fantasy team was Windows Down and Cruz, CRUZ, and I won 2 leagues that year, and so I've just continued to use that. So same vibes. Derrick Henry's your guy. Victor Cruz is my guy.
Mm-hmm. Cool, I love it.
Yep.
And then wide receiver, where are we at?
So I took Jay Jettas in light of the quarterback situation. Not feeling too hot about that. I won't say Nico Collins on this podcast for obvious reasons.
Yeah, we ain't talking about that.
Here's an interesting one for you guys. So in the Jags Media League, Mark Long didn't log into our draft, and so he was given, because he didn't log in until the second round, and he had that snake draft last pick where you get the last pick and then the first pick of the next round. And so he was given Malik Neighbors and Puka Nacua, and he was all upset about it. Then I go to do another one of my fantasy drafts, and I'm in the same boat, and I'm at the end, and I get Neighbors and Nacua based off of ESPN's rankings.
For sure.
I mean, right now I'm sitting pretty with 37.7 points from Neighbors, 27.6 from Nacua.
That's crazy.
Nacua had a.
And then I got beat by Mark because he had those 2 players in the other league. And don't you love when that happens?
Yeah.
I was going to put Neighbors on there too, especially like I thought there was going to be so many question marks with that Giants team this year. And, Russ is Russ.
Right.
But, I mean, after watching that game on Sunday, they got a little squad over there.
They do.
Sure.
They do. And I think that ultimately, as much as they have a squad, and if you talk to my grandpa up there in the great state of New Jersey, he would tell you Camp Scattaboo needs to be the focal point. I think every Italian in New Jersey is saying we need more Scattaboo. But I do think that it doesn't matter who's under center. Malik Neighbors is going to get his.
100%. And then tight end, I'm trying to think who I have at tight end.
Yeah,
Laporta,
sorry, Joey. I took Travis Kelce just because, all he does is score touchdowns.
You can have the crybaby.
Find a blank space.
Tucker queen.
Kraft, no, I did not just jump on the bandwagon after his Thursday Night Football performance. I expect, especially with Matthew Golden, the first-round pick of the Packers, still coming on and getting his sea legs under him. Now they're going to be without Jaden Reed until November because of his broken clavicle. I think Tucker Kraft is going to lead the Packers in receiving yards until someone stops him.
100%. Yeah, I like a lot of those. I think I have Laporta at tight end, and then my backup is Brendan Strange just because it's such a deep work league. But
who are you flexing?
Tight end position is very weak this year.
What'd you say?
I feel like the tight end position is very weak.
Oh yeah, the tight end position is definitely weak this year, bro. There's a lot. It's
McKittle's out, and
so I had Kittle in our league, and he put up great points until he got out, and so it was like, I don't know. That's obviously I would have loved to keep rocking with Kittle. I had Laporta on my bench, luckily, in our league. So
go Hawks. By the way, go Hawks.
Okay, facts. Yeah. Facts. We're running a 8-man league this year. So we dropped down. We had 10 last year, and then we had 2 guys dip out, and then we were like, you know what? Like, let's just run it with 8 and just see what happens. And it's like it's a gift and a curse. Like, you hate it obviously because there's so many people on the waiver wire that you can still pick up that are starters.
And everybody's squad is just absolutely loaded.
Yeah,
because there's not enough players to choose from.
It's really just like what kind of, it's like more of a gamble because you can't, like, everyone has a good team. So it's not that you have a better team than somebody. It's just how are they going to play on that.
Coming from the guy who hasn't scored 100 points.
That's crazy. No, I didn't score 100 points in my week 1, did I?
Did you? I don't think you broke 100.
That's crazy work.
I don't think you broke 100.
But hold on, I'm sorry, but didn't I put up... Oh, no, I put up 99 points
You put
this
up
week.
99.
Look, okay, here's the thing, Mia. I was 5th place first year and then 2nd place last year. And so this year I kind of went into a little bit more lax.
Okay.
No, brother.
Oh, I have no room to talk. I'll go ahead and tell you that.
Then stop talking.
Okay.
Because you were dead last both years. How many wins have you had?
Not dead last. I've never held the sign.
Out of 2 years of fantasy football, Joey's put up 5 wins. 2 seasons of fantasy football, he has 5 wins. So there we go. So there we go. We'll just leave that for the audience.
It was actually 4.
Okay, so let's talk about Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get into the real reason we got Mia over here today because our good friend Broadway Louie, shout out Broadway Louie, he's in the fantasy league, fan favorite guest, the whole 9.
He's a hater.
He is a Caitlin Clark hater. And I get the whole Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark battle thing. You're either one side or the other, but eventually you just got to side with the better player. And, we are Caitlin Clark ride or die. I don't care if Caitlin Clark doesn't make another shot the rest of her life.
She's the best to ever do it.
Best to ever do it. The reason the WNBA is what it is solely because of Caitlin Clark. I don't care what anybody says. All of those players that want the more pay, they want a bigger paycheck, the whole 9. Go and thank Caitlin Clark.
Broadway is punching his screen right now.
Oh, and that's fine. Broadway can, but at least he knows the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I will say this with my women's basketball podcast, which we started about a year ago through OG Triangle Media, myself and SB Nation's lead women's basketball writer in Mitch Northam. I've learned a lot. I've been covering collegiate women's basketball since 2015 when I covered the University of Iowa. Shout out Megan Gustafson, friend of the pod. And, of course, that team from 2015 to 2018, which went to 2 WNITs, went to an NCAA tournament, and then, of course, after I leave, goes to the Elite 8 because that's just the way that life works. But, Lisa Bluter and Jan Jensen, just 2 great inspirations for me and just appreciative of the time I got to spend with them. And then, yes, they also simultaneously were recruiting a player across the state of Iowa by the name of Caitlin Clark, who was in high school when I was out there. I was telling somebody today she was, 120 pounds soaking wet, 5'8", when I saw her play in the state quarterfinals in 2018. And I'm like, this kid, this is the one who's going to, be the number 1 recruit in the country and shock the world. And look, even Caitlin in that moment, I think she might have been the only one because I don't know if anyone would have said she's going to transform the world that we live in. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if she says that. And, Lisa said it on the record. She knew she would be a great player. She knew she could transcend the Iowa program and get them over the hump to their first Final Four since the days of C. Vivian Stringer. And obviously they did that. But at the same time, I don't think anybody expected her to.
Bold take. I don't even think you have a women's basketball podcast if it wasn't for Caitlin Clark. Just because it's like that market would have been so much smaller had her not get into it. It's like you might still have the podcast, but you ain't gonna have no fucking listeners.
No. And here's the other thing too. full transparency. Like, I'm not dumb. Like, I know that my boss is at ESPN and we've talked about it. Like, I'm very engaged with women's basketball and so many people are now and they want to learn. And because I've been in the space for 10 years, even if it wasn't as waist deep as it is now, you know, people want to be educated and want to learn more because of the Caitlin Clark effect, because she's brought more eyeballs. And so, like, I know, to your point, like, I know where my bread is buttered. You know, she, the other day I got a like from her. I didn't reach back out, but I tweeted, did you guys see this? So she's at the Orioles game because the Fever played in Baltimore against the Washington Mystics. And so she and Lexi Hull and their boyfriends, or in Lexi's case, her fiance, they go to the Orioles game for Cal Ripken celebration night. And the Orioles are being no-hit by the Dodgers until the bottom of the 9th inning, and then they hit a home run and they win the ball game. And so I tweeted out, I'm like, the power of Caitlin Clark compels. Yeah. And of course, my demon Caitlin Clark, of course, liked it, and then then it's the tweet blows up, and I'm just like, because that's the thing. Part of why I don't think Louis likes Caitlin, because I've heard this from a couple people, is she is a troll, but she knows it.
Yeah, 100%.
And she is this transformational character and human being in the world of sport. But she's also a 23-year-old, and she has, like, you know, she loves to just, like, stir the pot.
I don't know if there's anyone.
I love it.
I don't know if
she's
there's
a trash talker who you need to keep an eye on.
Oh, no.
Oh, but I love
sure.
that.
Right,
that's
same.
good.
No.
Like, I say it all the time. O'Brien is very strong in Caitlin Clark. It makes me proud. It makes me very, very proud.
No, 100%. You can tell she's just having fun with it.
Yeah.
And she's just kind of, like, living in her moment right now. And, I mean, the thing is like, she does talk a lot of trash, but she backs that shit up. And honestly, you see more teams now, like double teams and doing a lot of things that kind of hold down the Caitlin Clark effect, but she still manages.
That's more of an
points,
effect
you
if
know?
you're being double teamed.
100%, and you're just going to leave. Like, she's now impacting like the entire team more than just a scoreboard, like she was doing at Iowa, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't sit here and watch every single Fever game. I'm not going to act like I'm a women's basketball expert by any means, but just watching her play, I mean, the athleticism is insane, and anyone out there who, you know, enjoys women's basketball, like, or just even like just enjoys sports in general, can see the Caitlin Clark effect.
Because, and you know, I've had people say this to me who have no stake in the sport, and they've said, like, she does evoke that same growth mindset, but also just Mamba mentality that you saw from Kobe, you saw from Michael Jordan, whether you like it or not. It's just the reality of it. And the fact that she went to an Iowa, she did not go to Notre Dame where she was initially committed. She went to this home state school that loves the sport of basketball and rose it to levels that had never been seen before. It's, you know, I mean, it's a lot harder. That's the road less traveled, which there's less traffic, but there's less traffic for a reason. And so it's a credit to Caitlin, and obviously we've missed her for the better part of half of this WNBA season with the various injuries. I'm really excited to see the comeback next year. I'm fascinated if that means, A, does she play an Unrivaled in January in the 3-on-3 league in Miami, because she did not this year, and then B, part of her emphasis of her off-season program this past off-season was to put on more weight so that she'd have, more physicality coming through the lane. She'd be able to withstand contact a bit better. I don't know if it's for certain. I'm really fascinated to see what the science says. If putting on so much muscle in the span of 6-7 months affected her and led to some of these injuries that we've seen with the groin.
True.
So I'm interested, but I do think that the fact that the Fever won more games without Caitlin Clark than they have since 2016, bodes well for what's going to happen when she is reinserted into the lineup.
Oh, 100%. They're going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the hope.
I've said it multiple times, and I will say it again. This is a Caitlin Clark podcast. We love the girl. And it's not like it's just because of how she's impacted the sport. You know what I mean? For the longest time, the WNBA was an absolute joke. Yeah. And not in a negative way. I don't mean
no,
that
but
in
it's
any
true.
type
Like
of way.
it was not mainstream. It was not aesthetically.
I mean, it's just like, if they said a WNBA team, 5 years ago was coming to Jacksonville, I'd be like, okay, great. When's the next Jax game? I really don't give a fuck. But now I'm like itching. Like if they said a WNBA team's coming to Jacksonville,
you're
like
signing up for season tickets.
Mia,
right,
come
exactly.
on.
Which, hey, listen, the Upshot League, which the hope is, and it is independently operating for now. My viewpoint on it, shout out Donna Orender, former WNBA commissioner, was with the PGA Tour as well. She's going to be the president of the league. the way that I view that league, and again, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but it's that it's going to be the equivalent of the G League, and there will be a team here in Jacksonville.
Oh my gosh,
and so that'll be starting up next year, and I do think that it's going to draw because it's going to be in the summer months when we've got the jumbo shrimp, but we don't have the Jags, and the NFL is in its dead period, and so I'm excited to see what comes from the Upshot League. But to your point, yes, absolutely. I think we got to do a little segment for Louie before we get to producer questions because I don't want to take up too much of y'all's time. Angel Reese traded this offseason after all the controversy with the Sky, and I don't know, because I think it's coming. I think the trade is coming, and already she's got a back injury, so we've got the Jalen Ramsey of it all.
Oh my God, yeah, I love it. No, she's got a good point. Actually, I didn't even think about it like that. Oh
yeah, dude. No, she's plotting her escape. She goes on the record with the Chicago Sun-Times. She's talking about, well, this teammate's too old. We can't guarantee she's going to look the same next year. Like, dog, you don't say those things to the media in the middle of a season. I don't care that you've been eliminated from playoff contention unless you're trying to get your way out.
What are the odds she goes to Fever?
I know somebody brought that up to me. I don't think so. No.
That would be crazy having the two super villains together.
No, so two plans of attack. If I'm Angel Reese, number one, you go to one of the two expansion teams, Portland or Toronto. Maple Barbie, start the movement. Number two, because then you're the face, you get to be the star, and you're happy, whatever. Number two, she's got to take a little bit of humble pie, go play for the Aces. Go play for one of these other perennial powers, whether that's the New York Liberty or even the Atlanta Dream, who've had an awesome, come out of nowhere season, but they've got tons of proven veterans on that squad. And you've got to be the fourth or fifth option and learn how to be a pro. It's one or the other. There's no in between.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the first one for her journey.
Oh, I think
it would be also really good for like the expansion of the league too. You know what I mean? Like get one of these new places like a fucking. Yeah. I do think Angel Reese is a great player. I just hate the comparison and I hate the rivalry that they have. You have to pick a side, and our side is Caitlin Clark, and I will stand on business about that. Producer, I know you've got a couple of questions for the guest Mia O'Brien. We were kind of talking a little bit before she got here. What are some of the things that you wanted to ask?
I'm all about the Jags.
Okay.
One thing I noticed.
I'll reiterate these questions too for the people, so if they don't hear anything for 2 seconds.
In week one I saw a lot of motion.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What we saw with Doug Peterson.
Yes.
I saw a lot of penalties in week 2.
Mm-hmm. Not as many as week 1 though.
You're right, but I felt like it affected us more in week 2.
Mm-hmm.
What do we feel about that dynamic and how that's going to be something to adjust with Trevor and everything?
Okay, what is the question I'm asking?
Pre-snap motion up from Doug P, but then also there was a million penalties in game 2.
Okay, cool. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry.
The Jags.
I got the light right under him, so I couldn't even see his mouth moving. Go ahead.
The Jags were 10th in pre-snap motion in 22, and then suddenly they're like 32nd in 24. What changed? I'm not going to point any fingers. And now they're among the top 10, at least through 2 weeks of the season in pre-snap motion. I think that is just ultimately a staple of the Shanahan-McVay offense. That is where the rest of the modern National Football League is. That's not where the Philadelphia Eagles in 2017 were, though. And so maybe that's why we didn't see it for, a couple years there. Sure. I think you'll continue to see it. As for the shift penalties, we saw 5 of those flags thrown in a sequence of 9 plays against Cincinnati. And so concerns about that for certain, because the timing has to be right of when you are moving according to the snap. I think some of it had to deal with the loud noise in Cincinnati. I also think that the National Football, actually I don't think, I know this, the National Football League is really cracking down on illegal shifts and any sort of pre-snap penalty that they can find. And unfortunately, that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
100%. Yeah, that was a really good question, Hayden. Joey, do you have anything else, brother?
I don't think so. My brain is like so
Dude,
filled with
I'm
everything.
ready to go and watch so much sports right now.
Well, I feel like last time it was like all about the journey, and now we can like talk some sports.
Right.
I love it. I love it. And still, I did really enjoy that episode as well. Just like you being so open and like kind of explaining your journey. Because I mean, it is so cool to have that episode to look back on and see like the kind of the journey of Mo Bryan. Here we are, ESPN called, baby, and she answered. I love it. Seriously, Mia, shout out so much for coming on the podcast for a second time. I mean, I know the audience loves it, but nonetheless, we 3 fucking love it as well. You're incredible.
Got to give you your flowers because you've been doing amazing things.
Appreciate it.
And you're
boys.
so easy to listen to.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Especially like, I mean, obviously I know you on like a friend level, so it's like, I know how genuine you are, and it's so cool to listen to you, but it's also like very easy to consume sports from you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I can turn the TV off and have Mo Bryan on, and I know for a fact that, you're going
to learn a thing or two, hopefully,
facts,
and be entertained. If I can entertain and inform and that's all we can ask for.
100%. Let's plug these people in. Where can they just follow you on social media and check out your podcast, everything? Plug
absolutely. So at Mia O'Brien TV, you're going to want to be locked in there because given I'm in my trial period with ESPN, I could have gotten a text while we were on the air and they could be like, hey, can you fill in tonight? Because that happens from time to time.
Word.
And so when people ask, like, where can I listen to you? What's the schedule at ESPN? It's kind of all over the place right now. So just lock in at Mia O'Brien TV on X, and I'm always updating there, or on Instagram at MoBrien_16. And so you'll see, she's on ESPN tonight. Just pull up the app, listen there.
Perfect.
Sirius XM Channel 80, or watch ESPN online. Club 904 live 1 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then on Sundays 9:04 p.m. post game for the Jaguars. That is available on my Twitter as well as all of the Action Sports Jacks various streaming channels, whether that be YouTube, X, Facebook, Twitch. We're on all of them, and then we're also on actionnewsjacks.com and their .2 channel too, and it re-airs the day after several times over. The Women's Basketball Podcast, you can find that OG Triangle Media wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube. And then follow UNF Leader, the Taylor Leadership Institute. That's the day job. Shout out to the Ospreys. Swoop. Because
Swoop.
we gotta give another one of my good friends, in UNF some love.
100%. You're crushing it. My turn. All right, OGs. If you guys are enjoying this episode of the OG Sessions podcast, you know where you can find us. All social media platforms, OG Sessions Pod, except for TikTok, which is just OG Sessions. If you guys want to get the merch that Joey's got on right now, I think,
just the hat. I got the hat.
We got a little bit of merch on right now, but all the merch, ogsessions.com. Use promo code certified OG. Once again,
every week, baby.
Hey, we're just keeping that bitch up for now. But no, seriously, y'all take advantage of that promo code because free shipping, I believe, is what that is. So all the OGSP merch is going to be there for you guys. Also, if you want more bonus content, and we've been bringing y'all bonus content, let me tell you, I'm almost tired of the damn bonus content because we've been doing so many things for the OGSP Patreon. So that's patreon.com/OG Sessions. Choose a membership that's right for you, and let's get this thing cooking. And once again, thank you, Mia O'Brien.
Thank you, boys. Appreciate y'all.
Always a pleasure having you on, and just keep killing it.
I appreciate you guys.
You're the best.